Hi, I'm Ernie Zorn, and on behalf of Puritas Spring Software, I welcome you to the 9th in our series of frequently asked question videos. This one's about saving your bankruptcy master creditor database, and it's important because, well, of course, backing up is always important, but in the context of official bankruptcy forms, Microsoft Installer may erase or overwrite your master creditor database file when you update, and this video will show you how to protect the database file and prevent any mishaps. Before I get started, this video presumes you know how to add creditors to the database and how to paste creditors from the database into your bankruptcy schedules. We're not going to cover those subjects here, so if you don't know how to do that, there are 2 brief YouTube demonstration videos that you could take a look at. Okay, from experience, you probably already know that the master creditor database is a file that's used by Bank10 to store the names and addresses of those creditors that seem to show up on every bankruptcy. By putting those common creditors in the database, you can paste them into future bankruptcy petitions without retyping the creditor's name and address. Of course, if you've built up a group of creditors in the database, you want to make sure that that information is protected, and the things you need to know are where and under what name the master creditor database is stored. The answer is, number 1, the file is stored as a simple tab-delimited ASCII text database file that is, by default, stored at a folder located at C, Puritas, Bank10, Master. And 2, the name of the file is mastcred.txt. I'll show it to you right now. You can see it on the screen here. I've set it up on the right side. That's the file. And aside from what I'll show you in this video, you really shouldn't need to ever do anything with the file because Bank10 manages it pretty nicely by simply clicking on the Master Creditor Database button on the toolbar, which you also see there on the in the center portion, upper portion of the screen. With that explanation out of the way, the procedure I'm going to outline involves 2 steps. The first is backing up or making a copy of the Master Creditor Database. The simplest, also the least desirable way to make the backup of the file is to click on the file, press Control-C, then Control-P, just like you'd copy and paste text in a Word editor. Here, I'll do it right now. I'm going to click on it to highlight it. I'm going to hit Control-C. Of course, you don't see anything happening. And then I'm going to hit Control-V, and there's the copy appears. Now, the reason I called it the least desirable way to back up is because it would obviously be much better to store the file in a different directory or on your desktop or on an external drive or server. The farther away from the original you store it, the better. The safest policy is to make sure that the master creditor text file is included in your normal backup. Even better, include the parent Puritas folder, because the Puritas folder has all the client data files of all our applications. Therefore, if you back up the Puritas folder, you've got everything. Now, the second step is restoring the file, and that's done after you've updated. Now, when you perform an update, Windows Installer first deletes the application and many associated files, and that's the reason for making the master creditor copy in the first place. By the way, let me say right now that updating or reinstalling never deletes or harms your client files, just to let you know. Now, sometimes in the earliest versions of Bank10, the mastcred.txt file was among those erased or overwritten. When all the files are removed, Windows Installer installs the updated application and files. Again, that's the problem because the master creditor database was deleted during the early part of the installation and then replaced with a new one that's basically empty. Now, if I were to interrupt the update after removal, the master folder would look something like this. Let's get rid of the file that I made the copy of, and let's delete this. That's what it would look like when you're halfway through with installation, because it's deleted the master creditor. You see that the file is gone, and once the installer is finished, the master creditor database would be back. Let's see if I can get it back here by undoing the delete. Yep, there it is. Okay. And what I'll do is I'm going to make that copy again, Control C, Control V, and so then when installation is complete, the creditor, the mastercred.txt file would be there, but also the copy that I made would also be there. And presumably the copy would have all my old data in it, and the new Mastercred file would be an empty file. So how do we restore that Mastercred file? Well, I'm sure you could already guess, but basically it's just a matter of I would delete the one that the installation put in there, like so, and then I would rename like that, and that would that's it. I'm done. Now, even though this is a foolproof way to make sure your master creditor database is safe, we recently modified the Install Shield wizard so that by default the uninstall part of the update process does not remove the mastercred.txt file, nor does the install portion overwrite it. Now, for most users, that should take care of the problem. Regardless, it's always good to make sure you've got a fallback position by taking the steps that I described in this video to protect that file. Now, that's it for this video, and I want to remind you that the new Puritas Springs book, The Best of Law Office Computing, is now available in paperback. It's got all the best law office computing tips from years of back issues, and I'm sure you'll find the book both entertaining and the tips and hints useful. You can get the ebook at Amazon for only $9 and the paperback version for only $12.99. That's it. Thanks for watching.